I'm Octavia McIsaac. Welcome back to Self-Compassion with me. And today we're going to be doing part 4 that is probably going to be in 2 parts. Forgive, accept, let go. This is self-love. Now, this process, this is where we get to your worst. Our worst parts of ourselves. The parts of ourselves that we really wish we didn't have to go there. Because this is what's stopping us from loving ourselves. This is what we've been really not wanting to get to, really avoiding. But I promise you, once you get through this hell, you will find your heaven, your peace. Now, this can really come down to how our family judges us, or those who we consider that can be friends, how we see ourselves judged in society, and how we judge ourselves in situations that impose our worst self as we see it. Now, this can kind of be with different medical conditions that maybe if you have anxiety, if you're like me with like having suicidal thoughts and like epilepsy, like you think that you're not normal, you feel like, oh God, and that society probably thinks that there's something wrong with you for not having these things. Or if we get into the fact like and that maybe your family doesn't have these, you feel kind of alienated from people around you. These are our hardest times. These are our worst sides where this is what really keeps us away. Our hardest times of our lives, like when we've done something really bad, and I don't know, some of you might have even committed crimes, and you really think that you can't move forward from these times, but you can. You can really reconstruct your life. You are capable of doing it. It's just that you really have to go back to those times in your life. You have to go back to those worst memories, those times where maybe you set your house on fire, maybe you're like me and you tried to strangle yourself with a cardigan and you had a seizure and you almost died and your family got really scared and that you wouldn't be able to move forward in your future, and you had a medical system telling you that you had no chance, and you really had to push through this, and you had to remember, you know what? It's okay. You know what? I'm going to move forward through this, and I'm going to do my best to forgive, accept, and let go of those times when I was bullied and not take it and not put it on myself for all those hard times I went through. Because the more you do that, the more isolated you become in your own mind. Now, on the topic, we move on to the could, would, and should have. Now, these words are words of guilt. These words are not about the present, and they're not really constructive. Now, I could go grocery shopping. If it's more of the present, maybe talking about the future, that's simple, but if only I could have left the house and I could have locked the door. I should have been there for my sister when she lost her parent, but I left and went to a party instead and something horrible happened. I should have been. This is where it becomes bad because none of that really happened, and it's important that we let go of those for the realistic situation so we can really not get harmed by being obsessed by our past, being obsessed by decisions we didn't make, because in the end all we have is a present moment. All this stuff has already happened and we can't do anything to change the past. We can only help ourselves in the present to make changes for a better future and work through this together. Now, if anything, I have a rule that we really should have. See, I use the word should. Avoid using words like should. See, sometimes you still use them, but get rid of the word have, because the past is still there, and we need to be able to embrace our present by using the tools of self-acceptance. Now, reality can be so painful. A lot of us have traumatic problems, and we've had times where something will happen and we'll be like, oh God. Like I lost my mother, and I remember having blame on me. It's like, why didn't you take your mother to the hospital? Why didn't you do all of these things? You should have. You've been doing this, and that was painful, and that really hurt. But I had to remember that I had to accept what really did happen, and that, well, yeah, my mother had cancer, and it was terminal, and she died, and that acceptance really helps us heal, because by accepting it, you just take a large breath out and you realize it happened. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do, and nothing we can change. But we can forgive ourselves. We can say, and this is to yourself, I forgive myself for not having made a different decision. I forgive myself for not having been there when my family or friend needed it. I forgive myself for not having recognized when I was being bullied, because I was young then, and I don't need to feel bad for not understanding all the situations. Or I forgive myself for having been groped, having been raped. I forgive myself for not having been able to react in those situations, because it really isn't my fault. Society might make it seem like different situations in our lives are made our fault. For women, oh, you shouldn't have been wearing such sexually attractive clothes. But the man had a responsibility there, right? So it's in that process of forgiveness and forgiving ourselves that we can let go and move forward. That giving that compassion ourselves, that we can love ourselves and be very compassionate, and so we can learn how in the next step to move forward.